Hello, it's Mio and welcome to yet another Draw With Me video where I'll be drawing in my sketchbook. This is the 6th video, I think, in a row where I'll be drawing in my sketchbook, and the 3rd video in a row where I'll be drawing with markers and coloring pencils. I have been taking a little bit of a break from digital art recently, mostly because of AI art and how my art style when drawing digitally is very smooth, which kind of resembles AI art, and it is really demotivating. So I've been going back to basics, drawing with coloring pencils and markers, and I've been really enjoying it. And this time I will be drawing, much like in the other videos, humans and animals. So this time I found this very nice picture of a big cat that I wanted to draw. I can't really recall ever drawing a leopard before, but I have drawn some tigers and they have quite similar facial shapes. And I am using my magenta or pinkish coloring pencil. This coloring pencil is, as you can see, really old and worn down, but it works really well, and I love that you can erase it, and also it doesn't show as well after you put the coloring pencils and the markers on top of it. It kind of disappears, which is what I love about using a coloring pencil as my sketch. Adding the spots on the leopard's face was quite therapeutic because it's very random and you're just really scribbling away. And I also know that I'm going to be covering these anyway, so it doesn't matter much how good they look. Especially on the body, I just really went fast with that, just to have something before going on to the human, because I wanted to basically draw a leopard that is gonna have a bunch of blood on its face. I found this reference picture on Pinterest and was really inspired to draw it. So that's kind of the leopard, and then I'll be adding some colors and putting my own spin onto it. But then I also wanted to draw a girl that was supposed to kind of represent the leopard. So this is kind of like the human version of the leopard. So this one's also gonna have a bunch of blood on its face, with kind of a similar maybe haircut that I would think a human version of a leopard would have, and details like that. And I want the eyes to be like big, round, with maybe some mascara to form that kind of cat eye look, and yeah, things like that. So I had a lot of fun with the nose. I like the nose a lot. I think it's really cute. I wanted it to be kind of buttony, but also turned up maybe slightly, so that it looks more like a leopard, what I think a leopard's nose, if it was a human, would look like. The human gets some blush because I thought that would be really cute, and I also wanted to have a reason to add some more color to her face, even though I haven't really decided on which colors I would like to use. She's also getting kind of like this mullety hairstyle, just because I thought that it would fit a leopard. I don't really know. I thought it would be cute. Here I am coloring in the lightest parts of the leopard's face, which is gonna be this kind of just a skin color really, because I thought that would fit the human later on, because I want to be using the same color scheme. So I'm kind of trying to keep it human-esque so that it makes sense. Using too much yellows and oranges will kind of force me to use those colors. So in the beginning, I tried to keep it very human-esque skin tone. So browns, beiges, and this color called oatmeal that I added on the forehead. Of course, after I had put these more human colors on the leopard, I realized that I would need a little bit more orange and yellow. So I do add these, but I try to keep it to the minimal, at least in the beginning, just to kind of see how far I can go with these colors before I have to add more. So I'm adding more brown for like the darkest areas. This is kind of this reddish brown that I really like using, because it also has kind of a slight hint of coldness in it. So, and I'm really into purple colors or purple shadows at the moment, so I really enjoy this brownish color. Of course, the brown color wasn't enough. I had to add some black, mostly also because leopards have black around the eyes and on the spots. So I felt like I kind of had to add that in there. This process is a little bit messy because I keep going over the same places over and over again, because I keep adding more colors and realizing that things aren't enough and I want more texture, I want more of everything. So a lot of back and forths here, like with most of my drawings, honestly. I am a really messy person when it comes to my processes. So here as well, I decided, okay, I want some more texture and I want some more darkness. So I will be adding more of this yellow ochre-ish brown, maybe a little bit more brown than yellow ochre. And I really like the texture of it, so I decided to add that on most of the parts that are darker. So not the lightest parts, which are the stomach, around the nose, or like underneath the nose, and under the eyes. And then I keep adding more and more different colors to shade, like the brown color that I really enjoyed. Here I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere and I'm ready to add the spots. So I do so before adding anything more. I feel like at this point of the process I was like, okay, now I got texture, now I got different colors, now I should add the spots, see how I feel about it, and then see if I want to add any more shadows and highlights. Here I'm adding the last spots, which are around the mouth, and I felt like it looked pretty good, so I decided to just add some shadows in the eyes before I decided to add some blood. And you can also see from the cut there that I did add a little bit more orange around the nose, or on the nose bridge, to make a little bit of a shadow and make the nose look like it goes a little bit more out. And then here I am adding a lot of different types of techniques to make the blood. I'm using a marker, and then I'm using coloring pencils, and then I'm also blending out the coloring pencils with this blender marker that just has clear ink in it, or clear ink, it has pretty much just rubbing alcohol, that's it. And shading it a little bit with both coloring pencils and a darker red marker, before adding a little bit of highlight with this white marker. And that is pretty much it. Before I decide to do the same thing with the girl. And here I'm pretty much using the same techniques, except that it is human skin, so I want a little bit of texture, of course, but not too much. So I try to blend things a little bit more, maybe with the marker, than that I did with the leopard. So I start with the exact same color, the exact same beige that I used for the lightest parts, and I added pretty much on all the parts of the human, because that makes it a little bit easier for me to blend later on, or I feel like that at least helps a little bit. Then I add the oatmeal colors to the places that are supposed to be a little bit darker, but it's not the darkest color though. The darkest marker color that I will be using is the brown, which is also the darkest marker color that I used on the leopard. And that one I add on the places that are the darkest. So underneath the hair, underneath the eyebrows, underneath the nose, and underneath the chin. So everywhere where the shadows are the harshest when the light hits the face more from the above angle. And I of course added the blush, so I felt like I had to add the blush with marker, or at least I started with marker. I will be adding coloring pencil blush as well later on. And then of course I will be using black, just like I did with the leopard, in like the darkest places, or kind of sort of like line art. So around the nose, and then of course the lips, around the face, everywhere where it makes sense. More blush had to be added. This time it is orange because I felt like that fit the leopard colors again. I'm always keeping the leopard as a reference. And then I added the black around the eyes, and I will be adding more color around the eyes later on when I finally realized that leopards have kind of like eyeliner. I also tried to give some depth with this purple color. I don't have that much purple on the leopard, honestly, but I did have that brown color that had a little bit of coldness to it, so I feel like it still fit. Then here I am finally adding the eyeliner thing, and at this point I do feel like I kind of overshaded things, but I still keep on shading because I just can't stop, won't stop, as well as try to blend things out with the marker for a more smooth face texture. So the eyes are looking a little bit crazy and I'm not really that happy with them, but I do think they look a little bit better once I have more details in the rest of the face. So here I'm adding some shadows underneath the lips and making the lips look alright, as well as adding more yellow to the skin to try to tie things more together with the leopard. I tried some brown eyebrows in the beginning, it didn't feel like it fit, so I decided on the black color instead for more contrast. And then I also just keep on pretty much shading things. I want more purple in there, so I do that, and then I move on to the hair. So the hair was, I didn't really have any plan for the hair, let's be real with that. I just went with yellow at the tips because I felt like that would fit, and then I added this darker yellowish brown color further out, and this is kind of the main color that I used on the leopard, so I decided to add that to pretty much the whole hair, so as well as the undersides of the hair, and then on top and everything. And then I kind of go just back and forth with different types of yellows and oranges, and yeah, until I'm satisfied pretty much. Here is where I decided to go crazy because I thought she looked kind of alternative already, so I thought maybe she just dyed some spots in her hair, so let's put those in. And at this point I thought she kind of looked like Garfield, like a human female version of Garfield, but I was too far gone. This is how she's gonna look. And then I add the white highlights with this white pen where I feel like it fit the most, so on top of the nose, around the eyes, you know the drill. I do this every single time. And do that until I'm satisfied with it. A little bit on the hair as well, because I forgot completely when shading to kind of leave a space open for the highlights. So yeah. And then here it is time for the blood. And this is the exact same technique, and I wanted the blood to look quite similar, so I tried to add the blood in the same places and in similar patterns that they are on the leopard. And that was really fun for me. I really do enjoy the more messy processes of making blood, because you never really know 100% how it's gonna look. You don't have as much control of it really, because you can't go back with a red marker, and the smudges is also a little bit unpredictable. But it was really fun, and I think it turned out pretty well. And then here is the last pretty much detail of these drawings, which is the eyes, which are going to be yellow, because I felt like that was the most striking, to have like really light minimalistic eyes with this very detailed textured drawing. So I just added the yellows as well as highlights, and then I'm pretty much done with the eyes. And then the only thing I did after this was that I wanted something in the background. I felt like it was really just boring, and honestly what I should have done, looking back at it, I should have added some plants. I should have added something maybe a little bit tropical, or yeah, something fun with green or something in that direction. But I felt like purple would look good, and I added some textures to it, and I'm not really vibing with it. I'm not super duper happy with this detail. I wish I had done something else. But that is it, really. Here is the finished results of my leopard and my leopard girl. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week. Goodbye.